birthdays. I want to thank everyone that's having a birthday in the month of March. Spring break is here. First of all, I want to give my lovely wife, tell her happy birthday, Miss Wanda Gibson, along with my sister-in-law, and she's a twin. These are my two favorite twins, Londa and Shonda. Happy birthday. May God continue to bless you with many more. Also, Tish and Trisha, PK and Bio, another one of my favorite set of twins. They have a birthday today also. Jordan McKinney, Mr. J Mac, Jordan McKinney, he has a birthday. So we want to give a shout out to those, everybody's having birthdays in the month of March. And may God continue to bless you with many more travels around the sun. So Rocky, spring break is on, man. We're officially on spring break. But it's never a break for me. I'm continuously going, man. But I'm going to take this time to kind of sit back and reassess and kind of get refreshed, man. So I enjoy this time of year.
I know as a educator, you guys need this break to kind of recharge your batteries and get geared up to what is usually a race to the finish line in education this time of year after spring break. I think y'all have testing and a bunch of other stuff that y'all have prepared for. And so I it's much needed. I have educators in my family, and they're looking forward to the break as well. And so I just hope that everybody has a joyous and safe spring break.
Yeah, we always, my slogan is start strong, but finish stronger. So like Kobe Bryant always say, don't rest in the middle. You rest after the assignment is complete. And so it is a good time to kind of sit back and get, kind of refresh and refocus your energy. And like I said, we have to finish strong. So it's not time to rest, but it's time to take a break, much needed break. Also, on March the 8th, the Baylor Political Connection at Baylor University, they're going to have the Lester Gibson Unveiling Collection. And that's a great honor. What they're going to do is he's going to be the first African American that has his political paperwork inducted into the W.R. Poe Legislative Library, which that'll be on March the 8th, from 2:30 p.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. And we will have remarks by myself, former U.S. Representative Chet Edwards. He will be sharing some thoughts and words. So we want to, invite everybody out. We sent invitations out. Baylor University did, but you can actually go to the website and there's a link that you can still RSVP, or you can call 254-710-1268 to RSVP for that event. So it's an exciting time.
First off, I want to thank you, Travis, for the invitation you guys sent to my family and I to attend that very monumental occasion. Unfortunately, we will not be able to be in attendance. We had a vacation scheduled, and so we won't be able to make it. But I would have loved to have made it because your father is a hero of mine, someone I looked up to. He was a courageous man, a trailblazer, and I could go on and on about Commissioner Gibson and what he meant to me and what he meant to this community. And so I just want to ask you this as a friend and someone: do you ever get tired of having people recognize and praise your father? Do you ever get tired of hearing that?
No, I don't, man, because that keeps his legacy alive, and that just lets you know the impact that he made on his community and other people. And as his son, man, I'm proud that people, pay homage to what he did and the things that he, what he meant to the community, man, the things that he stood on. So with this induction into the W. Poe Legislative Library, man, it's a beautiful thing. And even though you won't be able to attend, I know where your heart is, but you can always go to the library, and it has all the papers, political documents over his past 28, 30 years of just paperwork that's real interesting, man, on race relations, the Jesse Washington incident, the lynching, and he tried to get that noose removed from the courthouse. I don't know if you ever went and saw that, but you can go to that courthouse and you see the Confederate flags and you see the lynch, the noose that was on there. And what they did, they came up with a resolution. Like my dad said, that resolution was as worthless as a piece of paper that they wrote it on. because it should have been removed. But, you know, different things like that, the Bottom Line newspaper, the Grassroots newspaper, which he and a friend, Mr. Don Freeman, they started that together to share and get information out to the people in the community, free of charge, but it had a lot of good information. I think you say your mom had some of those newspapers.
Absolutely.
And they'll be in the library as well. So it's gonna be a beautiful thing, man. So I just wanna invite, you know, go in and check it out. Now I do have today Dr. Bell. We kind of been missing with the phone, but hey man, everything's good. So he just said he got to get back into a meeting. So we're gonna apologize. Hopefully we'll get Dr. Bell in the studio next week to come share some information. Yeah, you can go ahead and hang it up. But so I have Miss Rachel Pate, and I want to thank. Go ahead, Rob.
I wanted to mention one thing, and it kind of is one of those deals where I knew Mr. Gibson as a man in the community, as a politician, and I didn't realize.
Call back in.
I didn't realize that he was also a graduate of Baylor.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was probably 45 years old.
Yeah, no, he.
Before I realized that Commissioner Gibson was a graduate of Baylor, an esteemed graduate, that he was a Navy veteran, and like there's so many things that Commissioner Gibson trailblazed in our community, right? And I never would have thought it, because this is no shade to anybody, but Mr. Gibson seemed like just a common man, somebody who just felt comfortable around the people. He didn't seem like somebody that would, not that he wasn't educated, I assumed he was college educated, but he was part of the people rather than being a figure that was above the people.
Yeah,
so to
he
speak.
was always just walking amongst the people, man. He told me one time, we're gonna bring Dr. Bell on, but he told me one time it was the educated people, right, the one with all these degrees that told him he couldn't win county commissioner, right, but it was the people, the common people that was in the community that supported him and got out and voted and walked and beat those streets, knocked on doors to get him elected. So yeah, he was a man amongst the people, man, and he graduated from Baylor, but he couldn't get a job, right, because they said he was too militant, he was too boisterous, but he stood on principle. So that's why most people probably didn't know that he graduated from Baylor, but what he did in 1974, and he was served our country in the U.S. Navy, man. So he did a lot of things. He didn't talk about that. He just put the work in. All that stuff didn't really mean anything to him, man. As long as he represented the people and that everything was done in a just and fair way. So I appreciate that. Dr. Bell, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Bell, are you there? Can you hear us, Dr. Bell? Dr. Bell, are you there? Can you hear me?
You probably got to hit that
Here,
speaker
you're
on.
gonna have to have a conversation with him with these headphones on. Here.
Okay, well,
With the headphones, you'll be able to hear him.
okay. What about the audience though?
Yeah, they can hear you.
Right.
Go ahead.
Hey, Dr. Bell, good morning. Yeah, we apologize for that, but we got you on, my brothers. Good to hear from you. We're trying to figure this stuff out, but we here, man. How you doing today? Hey, Dr. Bell, good morning.
Good morning.
We apologize for that, but we got you on, my brothers. Okay.
Is it up? Is it good?
Yeah, go ahead, Dr. Bell, would you say it again? Yeah, it's real low on my end, but I can hear you. Yes, sir. We are about he's going to be inducted into the Legislative Library at Baylor University on March the 8th. Yes, sir.
Can you hear?
saying, and you're 100% correct. You know, the limits that we have on ourselves are normally usually self-imposed, and so we always have to have a growth mindset and continue to learn and evolve and be who we are. We have to be true to ourselves at all times. And so, and Dr. Bell, I appreciate that you're always doing good works, getting in good trouble, as they so-called say, man. But I appreciate everything that you do and what you continue to do, and being a mentor for myself. So I appreciate it, and we hope to see you back here next week. We've been missing you. Yes, sir. It's going to be on March the 8th. Yes, sir. Okay, we'll look forward to seeing you. And man, have continue to do the good works in the community, continue to lead, and like always, I know you're going to continue to be true to yourself. So we thank you, Dr. Bell. We'll talk to you next week. We'll see you Friday. All right, in the hotel. All right. All right, that was Dr. Bell. You heard it right there. We know normally the limitations that we put on ourselves are normally self-imposed limitations. So we got to continue to be true to ourselves. Continue to be, you know, you can do things the unorthodox way instead of going with the status quo to get things done. And so we're going to take a quick commercial break right here on If We Only Knew What We Could Do, right here on Magic 94.5. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Yeah.
It was kind of, I think it was like a short. It was like
Yeah. I didn't know what it was, bro.
That was going me. I was hearing that echo.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to make sure he was coming through.
That's the main thing right there. Yeah, you got that.
Mama calling you, man. Yeah, I believe that's her number.
722.
No, 2258. 2258.
Come back from break.
Yeah.
Come on in. You want me to tell the college?
Yeah.
Now we televised.
Yeah.
We had that on the Stop and Music. They had the whole event that was now. Hey, Ramon, go ahead and call back. Ramon, now we said that was to let you call about a minute ago. Okay, go ahead and call back. And bring in that commercial break. So go ahead and call the number back. All right.
There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young getting run out of Harlem on the rail with a brand new process. There will be no
guest this morning, Ms. Rachel Page, which is the Vice President of the Central Texas African American Chamber of Commerce. And the Central Texas African American Chamber of Commerce has proudly served McLennan County since February 3rd, 2004, which establishing a rich history in Central Texas. The Chamber serves as a non-profit associated with dedicating to improving the economic, education, and cultural opportunities of its membership and community. The Central Texas African American Chamber of Commerce memberships include many of the area's leading industries, retail providers, and budding entrepreneurs. Membership is open to anyone living or working in Central Texas. And without any further ado, good morning, Rachel, and thank you for being able to come in on a kind of a short notice, but that's one thing with you, I can always count on you to come through. And y'all can't got the fatigue on, fatigue and black boots ready to go, you know, hey. Good morning, gotta represent. How you doing today?
Good morning. I want to call you Brother Gibson, and Brother Miller. Miller. Thank you so much for the warm introduction and invitation. As you say, 94.5 and especially this show in particular has a special place in my heart because this has been a platform that has consistently offered opportunity to my organization and others in the community to bring news and information to the masses, and in the spirit of what your father put down.
Yeah.
I think that is the torch that we are to bear, is to be those leaders in our communities that are outspoken, unabashed, and as Miss Shirley Chisholm would say, unbought and unbossed. So that's why I come sit with y'all brothers and put on my camo. I mean, I'm hiding in plain sight, but
I like that, I'm hiding in plain sight, you know what I'm saying?
being out here in Waco at a time such as this, there's just such great opportunity, and there's a wealth of information. There are access points, and being able to come and sit down and talk with you gentlemen means that I can share some of that information that's available to me at this time, and that opportunity exists for our other community members and organizations. So thank you for carrying that torch on.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. You asked me to come on and share some updates, so I'm just going to go into that first, and then anything y'all want to ask about those. So at the Chamber, we have an umbrella of programs. We have our Chamber of Commerce, as you mentioned, that supports economic industry, that supports entrepreneurship, that wants to advocate for equity in our community. But we also have a Center of Business Excellence, as well as a coordinator for that program, and Esther's Closet, which is workforce development, a coordinator for it. Those two programs service people of all backgrounds, so small business owners from throughout our community, regardless of race, status, time of residency. If you are a small business owner and you want to level up and get information and plug in, our Center of Business Excellence provides not only physical resources and tools you can use, like a computer or copy machine, things of that nature, even mailbox services, but also workshops. Every month we are holding Vibe workshops, which means very important business education. Last month we had the privilege of bringing a tax session to small business owners. We also use that East Waco Goodwill Connect Center, which is a great hub for meeting, for training, for workshops, but bringing in a local small business professional, Ms. Tina Walker, who owns her own tax service, came in and presented just some of the basics of bookkeeping, preparing for your taxes, whether you're doing them annually or you're doing them quarterly, and trying to educate people on the pitfalls and setbacks that can occur if you're not doing appropriate record keeping and meeting deadlines, and in the end, what's going to cost you money and affect your bottom line. So things of that nature that are vital for business owners to freshen up on, touch up on, whether or not you were educated in business school or if you just fell into entrepreneurship as a passion and a calling. Everyone can use updates on information technology, marketing, networking, meeting others in your community. And I think most importantly, especially to your listening audience, is the formation of the Black Business Network. The Chamber is working on that, and I think the reason I want to bring that out and push that forward is because Chamber membership is open again to anyone. A lot of our businesses include corporations, major businesses, banks, small businesses, And so you feel like, okay, I'm in a networking community of business owners, but if you want to get down even closer to connections, unity, collaborations, and partnerships within your own culture, that is what the Black Business Network will aim. You got to know where people are and meet them to actually unify with them. So I want to say that that is a great thing that is coming to the Chamber Center of Business Excellence. We moved about, it's maybe been 9 months ago, to 715 Elm. You brought out something so touching to me that I just had to shake my hands and wave my head. Chamber began back in 2004. This is our 20th year.
That's a
To,
long time.
yeah, that's
Over
a
2 decades.
that's two
That's a round
decades.
of applause for that.
Yeah,
Two
two
decades.
decades of weathering changing economic conditions, leadership changes, um, fiscal changes, mindset, culture, all these things that we have lived and seen. And there were some torchbearers that passed torches as well along to leadership that's in place now. And your dad was a great advocate of the chamber. Commissioner Miller was a wonderful advocate of the chamber. So being able to move things forward that they laid foundations for, and I can't miss saying Miss Levita Brown, who
Yes.
served as president for over a decade, being able to build on those foundations that they set forth and to realize and see the visions that they had and then cast our own for the next generation is beautiful. That is legacy. And so when you talk about paying homage, preserving, having it for generations to come, putting the work of our elders on display in reverence for what they built. I'm all for that as it applies to each of our leaders and trailblazers, but also in support of my organization and the leaders that brought us to where we are. So, in moving back to 715 Elm from Quinn campus, we now have over 15,000 square feet of space that we can renovate for our workforce development and for our Center of Business Excellence. I'm gonna put a pin on it right there. Oh yeah, I see eyebrows.
Look at that.
Yeah,
That's how you're supposed to do it.
because one thing we don't want to do is reinvent the wheel. What I want to know is what comes after the wheel. And so that's where I expect our Center of Business Excellence to take entrepreneurs, not to just what's now and what you can do that is available, but to impart into that facility the dreams of what's possible for the future and bringing that not only to our existing entrepreneurs, but to our young entrepreneurs as well. And that takes me to where we are in programming. Some of the things I think that people look to see from an organization such as ours is spurring our local economy. And so, one of the initiatives and programs that we have undertaken and inherited is Lemonade Day Waco. What y'all know about a Lemonade Day stand?
You know, I tried it one time when I was young.
Yeah.
On my street, Mitchell Street. You know, I was a young. I mean, I was like in the 5th grade, and I had no idea about marketing because nobody came down the street. So basically, we drank the lemonade up, right, when nobody coming through. But if I had somebody to kind of guide me and kind of show me, okay, this is what you need to do. You need to get a good location, things like that. Probably could have prospered, right? And that's why it's important to educate and show and lead young entrepreneurs. So you got a lot of them.
Amen. Brother Rocky, you leaned in.
No, I tried a lemonade stand and as well with one of my cousins, and we added popcorn to the menu as well. So we had a good. I thought we had a real solid plan or whatever, and we had it priced really affordable. But much like you on Rose Street, between the hours of say 10 and 4. Wasn't much business,
Right,
on Rose
yeah.
Street that time, and the people that were buying, they were looking for wine. So
Yeah. The wrong wine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
and so we didn't make plenty sales, but I did learn a valuable lessons with that business. That my first entrepreneurial endeavor is that location matters, and also marketing. is very important. And I think, and this is one of my passions is that marketing is an essential aspect of growing a business. A lot of times we look at marketing and advertisement as a added cost to business that we can't afford. But if you want a successful business, you can't afford not to market and not to advertise. Now, there are many ways to go out there and get it done. There's some very creative ways. There's some creative, very inexpensive ways. But there's those tried and true methods that we all know, you know. And so I think any business in our community, when you're developing a business plan, you have to have a marketing strategy that's comprehensive and that knows who your customer is, right? And I think, and I'm talking about this because that's the element that I've seen with a number of businesses that have come and gone over the 20 some odd years Keisha and I have been in business, is that you have to be willing to do what's necessary to market. And I'm not saying necessarily make an investment in money all the time, but it's definitely an investment in time, going out and talking to people, handing out flyers. Like that guerrilla method, though people don't use it very much, it works.
Yeah.
It's very labor intensive, but
Yeah.
it works. And so, but in this day and age, people want to use the more sophisticated methods of marketing. The problem with using those more very sophisticated methods of marketing, what you end up doing is targeting people that may or may not have an interest in using your
Yeah,
business.
you got to
And
know
so,
your market.
Yeah, you got to know your market. So anyway, that's what if that's a nugget from a entrepreneur for over the last 20 some odd years, that's what I would tell people is never stop marketing and advertising and sharing opportunities that you have with your business.
Let me just say, I want to hire y'all right now. So I let you say all that because I was interviewing you. Part of it is mentoring these young entrepreneurs, and you're absolutely right. The marketing is essential to any type of business, lemonade or otherwise. And you were right. Mentorship and entrepreneurship at an early age is vital to really planting that seed. If by fifth grade you haven't talked to a kid about entrepreneurship, they're not going to start thinking about it as much in high school and later when they're making college decisions, making plans for their life. So, in having the Lemonade Day program, let me say, Lemonade Day for Waco is May 18th. Anyone interested in registering for Lemonade Day Waco can visit www.lemonadeday.org/Waco, or they can just go to lemonade.org and select Find Your City and register online. But I would love to invite you seriously to be a part of mentoring the kids because what people don't realize, Lemonade Day, y'all both shared. Y'all had an experience. That's entrepreneurship. Kids don't always see that, and parents don't always see that. But being able to, again, put down principles of strong business ownership, marketing, business plans, financial literacy, being able to craft your product, to tweak your product, find your niche in the market, all of those we want to bring to the level of young entrepreneurs. And Lemonade Day has a wonderful curriculum. We are part of the national program, so there's an app, there are workbooks available. But what we ultimately want to do in rolling this out now as the presenting organization in partnership with others is to be able to not only help fill some of those gaps, like you say, find a good location. So, what small businesses can we work with to get a sweet spot for kids to have access to a restroom or to water, things that they may need, a shade? What can we do to help them market and understand that? Who can we bring on board that can help them build a wonderful lemonade stand or brand for their lemonade business. So all of this for them hopefully is fun and engaging, but for the right kids that really want to take it further, whether it's the lemonade and popcorn business or if it is their sneaker line or podcast, that is where the chamber will undergird and wrap services around those kids in our Young CEOs program. So that will be
Young
coming
CEOs.
soon. Young CEOs. So I'm going to move on from that. And I want to share with y'all, and I want to ask y'all, but I do really want to share with your audience. April 8th, the total solar eclipse in Waco. We have not had an official stop the press announcement for what to expect in our community. And just me personally talking to family members and people who are not necessarily at community meetings, have informed them of the information that I received, which is number one, expect for there to be approximately 1 million people in McLennan County around the eclipse time, and that can happen from the Wednesday before to the Tuesday after. But the eclipse is set for April the 8th on that Monday. And I don't want to spread any type of disinformation. This is something that you can absolutely reach out to city leadership or emergency management services to confirm different kinds of, I would say, hypotheses for maybe what to expect, but definitely get your gas before people come into town. Get your supplies for your home. Stock up because there's going to be a lot of traffic. There's going to be a lot of visitors, but there will also be a lot of engaging activities and fun happening in our community. I'm not going to mention everybody else. I'm just going to tell you about the free event we're going to do.
Right.
So the chamber is taking over Bridge Street Plaza on April the 8th, starting at 10 a.m. to around 2 to 3, depending on how crowds disperse. We're going to have a watch party at Bridge Street. It's a solar affair, free to the community. There are vendor opportunities, free for chamber members. A small fee if you're not a chamber member, but it's inviting the community, inviting East Waco, inviting people who might just be out in our city to stop and watch this event together, but also to support local business, to activate, the spots in our community that we have pride about and see our businesses along Elm Street. And we're doing that in partnership with many organizations like Cultural Arts of Waco, being able to bring Art Zone, Kids Zone, entertainment, fun, shopping, and then set the stage for that eclipse, which is going to be a total blackout happening somewhere in the afternoon, starting maybe around 11, and the phase kind of goes into a middle of 4 minutes of total darkness. And then, the moon moves away. So things like that, of course, I would encourage people to Google the path of the solar eclipse. It's coming down I-35. There are watch events happening in Waco, at Hewitt, in Hillsboro, Dallas, everywhere along the corridor. But again, in preparation, whether you're going out or staying in, be aware of delayed services, be aware of traffic, be aware of whether or not your kid will be picked up from school, has after school care, those kinds of things. Ask questions of your leadership is what I would say, because I, in my home, am definitely prepared for having to leave a little bit earlier, stay a little bit later that day. So you might just want to make it a family day off and see what you can get into.
Well, I ain't heard this excitement about getting dog, in a long time. Let me say, if y'all happen to want to see it get dog, wait till about 7:30 today, and it'll get dog for you, and you're gonna experience the same thing you're gonna experience on the solar eclipse. Again, I know it's gonna happen. I know what it is. I've never experienced one, but it get dark every night. And so for that reason, I feel like even the solar eclipse is not anything I'm gonna miss. So what I'm trying to convince my lovely wife to do is, let's go out of town while everybody else is enjoying McLennan County. Let's go out of town and do something else, cause it gets dark every night, and I've seen that before, and I don't really care to see it get dark around a million people in my community, and that maybe have weird intentions about that particular day. Again, to me, it's a big celebration, and I know it's a big deal to some people who are involved in, what do they call it, astrology, or what is it called?
Astronomy.
I actually took astronomy at Waco High. Did you ever take astronomy? We had that lab or whatever. You go in, what they call it? You go in the room, they cut the lights out, and you see the stars and astrology or whatever. Yeah. We had one in Waco High.
And I feel you on that, because especially if you're an introvert, you're like, I can't get all hyped up just because people are coming. But let me say this. One thing in our community that we should begin to look at as we forecast for the future, whether it's your business or your life or just the legacy of what happens around you, there are dollars to be made.
Absolutely.
There are dollars to be made. And when I say there are dollars to be made, there are dollars to be made on solar glasses, t-shirts, mugs, umbrellas, buckets, porta potties. That is what I think separates old Waco and new Waco. These people are coming here not because everything is beautiful and peaceful and cheap, but that they can also make money. And they capitalize on the tourism market that is here, which will level out, but they are planning beyond that for things like a baseball stadium downtown, for a cultural arts performance center on the river. So if we want to stay where we are and not just get in where we fit in, we absolutely have to strategically position ourselves and especially as business owners, position your business to capitalize on those gains that are coming because that'll be the difference between how many long-time lifers like us are here in the next 10 years if we can afford it. So I'm gonna drop that nugget, as you say. Yeah.
No. I completely understand. I think for a particular type of business owner, if you're in the especially in the entertainment space, or if you're in the food and beverage space, that's a lot. There's a tons of opportunity for you during that particular point in time, and you should, be ramped up and ready to go. I'm just saying from my standpoint, not from a business standpoint, but just from a person standpoint, it's really just gonna get dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I look at it I always look at things from a whole. I tend to kind of overanalyze stuff, which is a good problem to have. But I know my son, he was mentioning about the eclipse, and we got 37 days, 1 hour, 44 minutes, and 2 seconds as of right now before, the totality. And basically, what is the science, man, with the movement, the universe, man. The universe is based off of science. You know what I'm saying? And so he was asking me about it. I think Thursday or Friday about the solar eclipse. Yeah, because I really hadn't been paying attention to it because I got other pressing issues, right? Business in the community, thing we're trying to do with the students at the school. But when I took time and listened to them, it needs to be educated. Like Ms. Pay was saying, we got to plan beyond that, right? Because other people are coming in taking, well, I'm not gonna say taking advantage, but they taking that opportunity to promote whatever they're promoting, and we got to look beyond we know it get dark at night. I've been getting dark for 52 years for me.
We've been dark all our life.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then, like you say, for life, it's like I was born in Waco, probably going to pretty much die in Waco unless I hit the lottery. But, I've always been against the odds, so that's probably not going to happen. So I'm here for the long haul. I like what you said, that with lifers. But we have to prepare and plan for the future. Because it could be, like my son, when he brought it to my attention, that let me know he's paying attention in school about the solar eclipse. And now, it's the totality, and this is the last in the century. But Waco is going to be a prime spot to view that.
Now,
Yeah.
Travis, I know me and you around the same age, so
You're a little older than me, bro.
yeah, okay.
You'll always be older than me.
That's not the point I'm making.
Nah, I
But
know.
when we was in school, maybe elementary, there was some type of eclipse. They gave us glasses and all kinds of stuff.
I remember that vague. Since you brought that up, I remember that. I don't remember what it was. I remember giving us the glasses
they
or
gave
whatever.
us glasses, and they told us not to look directly in the sun,
Right.
it'll blind us or whatever. But of course, I'm that guy. And,
Yeah. I didn't. When you mentioned that, I remembered that. I don't know exactly what it
I was
was.
in elementary, man. I can't remember what year it was, of course. And I don't know if it was a partial eclipse, total eclipse, or half eclipse, third eclipse. I didn't know what it was, but I just know it was an eclipse, and I remember it being very uneventful.
Yeah.
It was a lot of anticipation around it, but I don't know if we was taking naps during that time or
Probably had more, things that we were focused on besides whatever was a partial eclipse or whatever. But like this, I've heard about it, all the different things, and people kind of, coming to Waco during that time. But I just never paid really attention, because I got more important things to think about than a total eclipse. But when my son brought it to my attention, it was a good topic of conversation. And to get back on the business aspect of it, I know Rocky, I've always admired people that were entrepreneurs, right? They get out, but a lot of people don't realize the hard work that it takes. They think it's somebody's making, money hand over fist or whatever, but it's not like that. You have to put a lot of work into it. You got to, what is it, Rock? The first 2 or 3 years, you pretty much invest in, equity,
Yeah.
put some skin in the game. But I heard my father always speak about owning your own stuff, right? Where you don't have to go in and work for someone else. And we have a lot of young entrepreneurs. I see them in the school all the time. But I think that's a great opportunity with the lemonade. They call it Lemonade Day or whatever.
Lemonade Day.
Yeah, because when I did the lemonade, I was just trying to get some shoes, man. I wasn't trying to go into no long-term entrepreneurial stuff. I just saw it on TV. I think it was the Little Rascals. They had the little lemonade stand, so I decided to get me a lemonade
Trying to hit a
stand.
lick, as they
Yeah.
say.
Tried to hit a lick to get some shoes, man, but
Yeah.
it didn't work. But people like yourself, I mean, you did that back then, the lemonade and popcorn, but here you are today,
Yeah.
30, 40 some years later, still with the entrepreneur mindset.
You know, Travis, man, it's not anything that I aspired to do initially,
Yeah.
but it was something that me and my wife, we had a skill set, and we got into it, and we were what I'm most proud of is we were able to feed our family, send our kids to college, have some tremendous experiences because of it. And by no means have we gotten rich or anything like that, but we have something that if nothing else, we can pass it on to our children, or just knowing that we have customers that depend on us, and we have helped. Like we filed over 10,000 returns over the past 20 years, and so when you think about how many people we've done business with and how many people we've served, we just proud of that aspect of it as being part of the community. A lot of people get into business, and just like we did, don't get me wrong. I got into business so we could make money, like no doubt about it. But when you get into it and you start servicing the community, servicing the people that you grew up with, servicing the people that you live with, these were people. We have people that were once dependents on returns that are now adults, and they have children. So when you get into that, it's a very fulfilling endeavor. Once you realize what you're doing as an entrepreneur, because what you're doing, of course you're making money, but you're helping people most of all, and that's what we love doing. And so it's not easy, but I'll tell you this: I've never worked harder for someone else than I have worked for Keisha and I in the tax business, in the cigar business, and there's a very new business endeavor that we're undertaking. And luckily, in this particular business, we have partners, and it's an amazing journey. I'm looking forward to. That announcement will come at a later date, but entrepreneurship, I think, in my opinion, is the key to financial freedom and independence. That's just my belief.
Right.
I've always had a job. Don't get me wrong. I always had a job, but I never went to the job. I never went to the job in the past 20 years, thinking I got to have this job.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, boss. I got to be here.
Yeah.
I always went there as a choice, and it made my employment much more pleasant and pleasant by being there as a choice rather than being there under force or under duress.
Yeah, because it's like being your own, your own boss, right? It kind of frees up time, right? Because you can always make some money, but you can't never get, once time elapses, you can't get that time back, because those jobs kind of tie people to the job, because you got to pay bills at the first of the month. About 80% of your income is spent out going on bills, and so we get depending on the job because you got these bills coming in. But I think being a owner, right? You can, you're still making money, you get into it to make money, but you can also free up time to do other things, spend more time with your family. And that's one thing about being in the school district. Like we're on spring break, but my kids are on spring break as well, so I can take that time to bond with them. But to get back on the chamber, that's some good information. Now, do a lot of people take advantage of it? There's a lot of resources out there. Are these young entrepreneurs taking advantage of the resources that are available?
Yes and no. And I will tell you, there are people absolutely connected on our membership list, newsletter, faithful Facebook followers, and people that are beginning to follow other programs like the Center of Business Excellence. So yes, people are tapping into it, but youth entrepreneurship is a totally new market. So that for us is going to be a first in really bringing children into that environment and not only educating them on entrepreneurship, but what a chamber is, community engagement, civic engagement, again, pairing with mentors. I do want to say all of this is open to community. They can get more information at www.syntexchamber.com and just research and read some of the things and reach out to us. Come by, call, or email. Last thing I would love to say, I love all that you gentlemen put in, and it's always great to be in the room with positive men. And so, one of the last things I want to say is something that Rocky told me years ago that I've never forgotten, which is always bet on yourself. I
Yeah,
don't think we
got to.
say that enough to ourselves or to our kids. I mean, you tell them you can be anything you want to be, but then when they get out there, they get channeled into some pipeline. But if we start telling our children now and start telling ourselves now to bet on ourselves and then connect ourselves to the things that will help us cash in, I think that's where we go from here if we look into thrive and not just survive. But thank you for the opportunity, and for
Yeah.
anyone interested, reach out to us.
And I'm a promoter myself. There's a lot of good, because sometimes we just tend to overlook stuff, but when you start digging in deeper, right, drilling down deeper, it's a lot of resources. I know a lot of young students that got a good plan, just don't know how to get that plan together, right? Just need a little push and some mentorship. So we got it.
And that's one of the things, I think I think in concept the chamber is a great idea. This is my opinion, it's an underutilized resource for a lot of black entrepreneurs. I know people that have been in business 3, 4, 5 years, and I asked them, have they been to the Black Chamber, and they haven't, right? For whatever reason, But I think it's an underutilized resource, and I think for us to take full advantage of the chamber has I think the chamber has an obligation to the citizens of the community, because first of all, you guys are a city-funded organization. Our tax dollars, Waco tax dollars, fund your organization. So therefore, the citizens should take full advantage of what you guys have to offer over there. And also, we also know that as a community, we index very low in entrepreneurship, ownership, and things of that nature. So we have to, in my opinion, the way that we make strides is coming together and supporting one another. And that's what I always wanted one of the primary missions of the chamber to be, is to bring business owners together and along with the community and say, hey, the key to us being sustainable and viable in the future is us supporting each other first.
Right, that's
You
correct.
understand what I'm saying? Like, you can go to McDonald's, Burger King, and all that kind of stuff, but what that end up doing long term is that's making sure that Burger King, McDonald's, and Wendy's survive, and maybe the eatery, ends up going out of business, or a number or Max Fry House, or all these other businesses end up struggling and suffering because of your loyalty and your habit.
Say it with your chest.
Of
Loyalty.
going to McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, whatever. So what I'm saying is, it's important to have an ecosystem among us that we support one another. We know this model works because it works for other
Works for
communities.
everybody else.
Let me give you an example. I call a spade a spade. I ride down Elm Street all the time because it's on the way home. Family's near, whatever. I don't care what day it is. If the Revival is open, they people in there. That's right across the street from me.
Yeah.
If they open, they in there. Now, them people don't live in East Waco. They drive from however far they need to drive to do whatever they need to do to make sure
They go support.
they go support their folks. So even in our community where you have a business that's not supported by the people that live in the community, they have a group of friends, family, extended family, supporters, followers, whatever you want to say. They go there each and every day that they're open. Now, I don't know the schedule when they're open. I've never eaten there. But they go there each and every time they're open. There's cars all up and down Elm Street supporting their business. we will drive by our businesses, go to another business, sit down and eat, and come back to our neighborhood.
Let me ask you a question.
Without even supporting.
You said a key
people
word, sustainability, right?
Yes, sir.
Sustainability. So my question is, why do we not support our
So-
own?
That's the
That's why I like
million- that's
the
the
Black
million
Business
dollar,
Network.
trillion
I
dollar
like
question.
that. I got invited, I think your wife was some group that I joined, but supporting black businesses. I know with the radio, I would just advertise for free, right? So those businesses can get people to come in and support, but we know we got to support our own. Like that, that was a good example that you shared. People come from all over to come and support. Was it the Revival?
Yeah.
What kind of business is that?
It's
Restaurant.
It's a
It's a
restaurant.
Revival. I mean, what kind of food is it?
I don't know.
Hamburger
I ain't never been there,
sandwiches,
yeah.
salads.
But you can go to the eatery, you can go to Big Wall Smokehouse, you can go to Papa Jack's right there on Waco Drive and support. We got everything you need, but the question is, why don't we support each other?
Again, I don't claim to be a psychologist or a sociologist to kind of to understand the behaviors of people.
Yeah, I just wanted to put it out
anybody
there.
else. But I think you got a good point. But I think it's a simple calculation, right? Is that we have to value things that are ours, right? Because the truth of the matter is, whether I'm in business or not, I want your children to have the confidence that they can go in business and that people walk through the door. Like one of the most this is just a vulnerable moment for me as I recall being a young entrepreneur, me and my wife, is to open up a business, spend everything we have to create this business, and then hope somebody walk through the door and ask for our services. That's a really devastating. Now, lucky for us, people walk through the door. But I've seen many people do the exact same, make the exact same sacrifice that we made, and for whatever reason, people don't walk through the door. Now, it could be due to marketing and advertising. Don't get me wrong about that. But what I'm saying is, there are many businesses that our friends and family open up and own, and we know that they're open. We know that they're business, right? And rather than support their wing business or their fish business or their barbecue business or whatever, we either go somewhere else or maybe even not speak highly of them as they go through their entrepreneurial journey. I just want us to have a culture in my city. In my city. I don't care about nobody else. I don't care about Dallas, Houston, New Orleans, whatever. In my city, I would love us to have a culture of supporting one another in business, because we know in this community it's been a struggle for black businesses a long time. And rather than get in the mindset, let's open up a business and have people from outside our community come and ensure that our business survive. To me, that's not the key. The key is if our people start coming, the other communities are gonna come.
Yeah, you got to go back, man, to Bridge Street back in the 1900s, right? They were a thriving pharmacists, doctors, lawyers, jockey club, but they were self-sufficient, self-reliant. They supported each other. That was during the time of segregation, right? We relied on our own self-sufficient, reliant, persevering ways to make things happen, right? And so I kind of asked myself sometimes, we all want to join in and integrate with somebody else, but we got the tool we need to be successful on our own. But that's a topic. That's a whole nother conversation, man. It might be too late to go back to that revolution.
But champion it, because you're asking the right questions, you're giving the right insight, and you said an important word: ecosystem.
Yeah.
We build our own ecosystem where business is a part of it, education is a part of that, financial wealth, growth, all of those things. But it does take, number one, putting our egos to the side, and you also said your loyalty and your habits. It's hard to break habits sometimes, and
Absolutely.
and before we even peel it back and try to tell anybody what to do or how to do, we got to get in a room together.
That's it.
So I'm gonna leave it at that.
And so I'm gonna leave it at this, because we can run out of time. I've been patiently waiting to talk, but now I appreciate that, sister. You brought some good points. But what we have to do, I mean, it's, you said bad habit, but you can develop good habits a little bit at a time, right? Compound habits, the same way you can develop bad habits, we can develop good habits. So great topic of conversation. I appreciate Sister Pate. You know, I'm gonna get back because you got
Thank
that
you, brother.
fatigue on. Yeah.
Well, let me give a shout out to Miss April Neal, Black business
Right,
owner.
there you
She
go.
was relocating from Saronia. They were closing their doors. She said she would have some of her vintage clothing available in the future at Thirst. But I got this nice nifty jumpsuit
Yeah, I like that.
from my lady, Miss April Neal, daughter of Marsha, aka Sassy.
See, I like
All
that.
right,
Plug everybody.
Yeah,
Plug
like
it,
I
yeah.
say,
There you go.
That's what it is. And today is a great day. I'm gonna let you go, Travis. Let you wrap us up. But today is a great day for you to get up if you're cleaning your house, if you're just waking up, if you're having your cup of coffee right now. Just go make sure you go spend a couple dollars with a black-owned business and I don't care if it's buying a sandwich, getting you some neck bones, getting you some barbecue, buying an outfit. There are black business owners all over this city. Buy a cookie or a cupcake or whatever.
Go
There
buy
are black
some
business
wisdom.
owners all, huh?
And then go buy some wisdom and knowledge. That's what we need.
Yeah,
That's
we-
free.
Yeah, that's
Step
free.
up
You know
in
what I'm
there.
saying?
We got black business owners
Yeah.
all over the city trying to do great things for the community. Take a few dollars and go support somebody.
That's right.
Go ahead, Trav.
Yeah, we're on good conversation, man. I appreciate that, and it's always good to sit down in a room with like-minded individuals to share different perspectives. Because at the end of the day, if we only knew what we could do a whole lot if we put our minds together and come together as one. So before we get up out here, we'll be back next week right here on Magic 94.5. If we only knew what we could do. But I want to, let's go out and support those La Vega Lady Pirates today, where they can win that second state championship. And Rock, it's hard to win one state. I never been a part of a state program, period. Now, we had an opportunity
Yes.
in
yes,
'87.
we did.
So I have an imaginary state championship in my head because we should have won, but we came on record, we didn't, right? We got disqualified, and that's a whole nother
We didn't lose
story.
it on the field, so baby.
Right. We didn't lose on the
we
field.
We can still talk about it.
There you go. So education is an investment that's essential to empowering individuals to reach their full potential and to make their own positive impact on the world. So remember that go out, education is real important, and education is key. So we'll be back here next week. Appreciate your help. We had a little difficult, but we're good with that. We'll just adapt and overcome. And happy birthday again to my wife. I'm on my way home. She told me I couldn't be too long this morning, but I'm on my way home, and we'll see you back here next week right here on 94.5 if we only knew what we could do. Have a great weekend. Yeah, that was good.
All
That
right.
got me hyped up, man. You played the Revolut, man.
Well,
Yeah,
well, you know what? I always,
Black
that's what I
Boots,
say.
G.
I enjoy speaking and talking with y'all, but I agree wholeheartedly. The time is now. We don't have no time to wait about some of the things we need to be stepping into. And I said in our conversation, leadership has changed. Yeah, so I think you can dictate